Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Hope everyone's well. We're just as always fixing a few things in the background. While some more people are jumping in, hello there, Roz. It'd be really good just to put what city you're calling in from. It's kind of cool to see where people are coming in. I know there's a lot of people registered from Australia, but we've got people all around the world now. So Sydney, Sydney it is. Um, oh, quite a few Sydneys. This is going good. So
Welcome,
I'm
welcome,
going to give you
welcome.
a bit of an overview. Uh, Sydney's taken over, right? It's just quite a few in there. Very good. All right. So, a couple of housekeeping things just to give you guys an overview of what we're doing today, what we're trying to achieve. The first thing I would say is we're going to do Q&A all at the end. There might be a couple of things that Raf might ask throughout because he loves involvement. That's a big thing if anyone's been on his webinars and sessions before. But majority of Q&As will be done at the end. So there's a chat button or Q&A down the bottom. If you can just put them in there, I'll address them all at the end, and then we'll get Raf, Yvonne, and Amy potentially to answer, depending on who's best. But yes, if you can put them in there throughout, and then again, like I said, at the end, we'll go through everything. The other piece is the recording. So for those who would like to watch the recording or those who registered and won't be able to make it, it'll all be sent out on Monday. So no need to follow up. 100% everything will go out on Monday. It's just once we do things in the background, that's when it'll be sent. As an agenda of what we're going to do today, so Raf's going to start off and give like a helicopter view of what he's seeing on the front line of social commerce in general, but TikTok shop specifically and TikTok. We're in a very lucky position that most people know that we mentor on an individual basis now over 100 brands in all parts of the world. And from that, we're always learning too, but we're seeing exactly on the front line what's happening. So there's going to be a bit of a breakdown today that Raf's going to go through as a helicopter view, which is piece one. And the second piece is we have very special guests in Amy and Yvonne joining us shortly, where they have a wonderful brand out of Australia called Enso Sensory that have done really well on TikTok Shop. They've been kind enough today to join us, and we're going to go through and break down their journey, speed humps, sometimes what looked like a brick wall. But I think it's really good for people that are going to be on this webinar watching the replay is this brand started from absolute scratch. They worked their cracker off and they got success. And there is obviously in any success, so many breadcrumbs, we call it, that, what you guys can pick up on and say, I understand that I'm in this spot right now. I can take that and put that in my business. So we're really trying to actually break down a live case study, but more importantly for you guys to take away actionable items as we always do. That's the overview. Again, like I said, Raf starting off, Amy and Yvonne, we're going to break down. We're going to go through Q&A at the end. Um, Other than that, Raf, I might get you to take it away from here, mate, and we'll get it moving.
Perfect. Guys, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for spending your limited and valuable time to jump on this session. My goal for you from this session is for you to be able to away with knowing what the playbook looks like to be able to leverage TikTok to grow your brands. I'm going to walk through exactly how to do that. I'm seeing some people in the chat saying, hey, we can only send messages to hosts and panels. It's the first time we're doing a webinar like this. I don't know how to change the settings. I apologize for that. Hell, maybe in the future we'll make sure and make that change, but I think it's just the default settings. But I can see your responses, which is a good thing, and we can keep going. All right. So, with that being said, I'm going to share my screen and dive in. So, today we're going to be talking about how one brand added 1 million plus on TikTok Shop and tripled their Amazon sales in under 12 months. Actually, even less than that. And that brand, of course, we know is Enso Sensory, but Yvonne here, and then Amy is going to be joining soon. A little bit about us for those of you who don't know us. I know a lot of familiar faces, so you should. Most of you guys know us, but I just want to give a little bit more context. So we've been e-commerce sellers since 2016 in the TikTok space for now about 5 years. Launched and scaled and exited multiple brands for 8 figures plus. We've helped brands generate 1 million plus a month leveraging TikTok Shop by building in-house systems, so they're not reliant on an external agency that you have to pay like 10K per month for. We've helped hundreds of businesses leverage TikTok to scale their brands. We're the fastest growing TikTok partners in the US and in Australia. And we've helped many brands go from 0 to 100K, 200K per month, 300K per month, and some, like I mentioned, 1 mil a month. That's a quick little a bit about us. And the reason why I share this up front is a lot of people jump on webinars like this and think, why should I listen to these guys? So I just wanted to front load the proof that we've done this many times over. So your brain is open and receptive to all the stuff that we're about to share in regards to tactics and strategy you can apply in your business today. So a quick temp check so that I know who I'm talking to. In the chat, can you just let me know where you are in your brand from an annual revenue perspective? If you're under a mil annually, just put A. If you're 1 to 5 mil, put B. C, 5 mil, 10 plus mil, D, just in the chat, just so I know who I'm speaking to so I can change how I'm speaking to you guys specifically. Okay, so we've got Victoria's at a C. We've got a bunch of A's coming through. Okay, awesome, cool. So we have like beginner-ish sort of brands and some with with a couple C's and a couple B's that are coming in here. All right, fantastic. Thank you for that. And thank you for your participation. That's how I know you guys are listening. And it gives me energy because I can't see your faces, but you can see mine. So thank you for playing hard and actually playing in this game. So I appreciate it. All right. And because you guys are playing hard and because you guys are engaging, my promise to you is that you're going to walk away knowing if TikTok and TikTok Shop can be realistically for you to be a 100K a month channel for your brand and what it would take from your team to do so. That's part of the reason why we have the Enso Sensory team here as well. And you're going to be hearing from a brand who's done this in real time, like I mentioned. And if you're a fit, obviously we can map out what this looks like for you one-on-one down the road. But our focus is what's happening on TikTok right now. So before we start hearing from Enso Sensory and the brand, I want to give you a little bit of the larger picture. Like, what is the current state of TikTok so you can understand what's actually happening? So TikTok worldwide has 1.8 billion monthly active users, and that's 170 million plus in the US alone. The sheer amount of the human population that are spending their time on this platform is massive. So if you thought, oh, maybe my customer isn't on that platform, the likelihood is that they are, especially because 57 plus percent are above the age of 30 and 11% are above the age of 50. So if your demographic is anywhere in there, they're going to be on this platform, which is exciting. In the last month on TikTok Shop in the US, it drove 2.6 billion on that platform alone. And the reason that I'm sharing this for that last month is because that is up 3x from 12 months ago. So if we look at February, same time last year to now, that's the change. That's how much growth is happening on this platform over and over and over again because more brands are going on there, more customers are deciding to purchase from there, and obviously more creators are creating content there. And this change, this shift is just a broader trend on how consumers are choosing to engage with content and discover new products and buy from brands. They're not looking at legacy brands as much as new top of funnel uh, product discovery. And that's why it's super duper powerful. And with TikTok and TikTok Shop, it's helped brands blow over Amazon, all over Amazon, using that TikTok and that halo effect. So getting search volume from, if you're an Amazon seller, you would know this. I'm getting into the technical things, but a search volume is essentially how many people are searching for your product or your brand, and going from 507 to 130,000 plus. We've had brands that's gone from like approximately 2,800 to 42,000 in a matter of months by doing TikTok. We've also helped brands go 60x their Amazon sales just by the work that they put in on the TikTok shop side. And uh, we've had a brand that's tripled their sales on the Amazon side. You're actually going to hear from this brand a little bit later today. So it's really, really exciting. And the power from TikTok to obviously scale on the TikTok shop side, but overflow into every other area of your business and your product brand is well established. And it works really, really well. So I want to do a quick pulse check for you guys. How many of you already have a competitor that's on TikTok Shop right now? Just put a one in the chat so I know if you're looking and seeing what's happening on the TikTok side, on the TikTok Shop side. And if it's not a competitor that's on TikTok Shop yet, how many of you already have a competitor leveraging TikTok traffic in your space right now? So just put a one in the chat so I know where we're at. Thank you, Hugo. Thank you, Peter, Penny, John. Awesome. So your competitors are already on there. Let's not let them win. That's really the goal. Okay, so we're at least aware of what's happening in that space. Uh, we're not across what our competitors are doing. No worries, Victoria. All good. You're playing on your own game. That's totally cool. But the only reason that I mention this is that since your avatar is on this platform, and if you're not on this platform, they're selling to you. They're selling to your your dark avatar, your dark customers instead of you. And we want to make sure that we're actually on that platform too. So in 2022, I was on stage, and this was before TikTok Shop was live, and I shared this graphic. And the reason I share this graphic is because at that point, I was shouting from the rooftop, hey, you want to get on TikTok and leverage it to be able to scale your business. Now, a lot of brands are either very comfortable on the Shopify side or on the Amazon marketplace. And most of that is towards the late majority. Most brands know, how to ink out value. They know what is necessary to be able to make money on that platform. But that also means that the competition is higher. And in 2022, I've made this arrow towards this adoption curve. The sellers that were effectively using TikTok in their business were just here. It was right at the very beginning of the early adopters. The innovators had come in, there's some proof of concept, and now sellers were slowly starting to pile in. This is where we're at right now. Sellers are starting to see how important TikTok and top of funnel awareness is for their overall brand and strategy, how it impacts their Amazon sales, like I just shared with you with the halo effect, how it impacts their Shopify, and obviously the TikTok and TikTok Shop channel becomes its own revenue engine in its own right. But if you notice, the difference between these two pictures is the gap and the amount of time that you had to take advantage. And the reason I'm stressing this is I wish I could go back in time just to like show people that this would be the impact, because this is something that I've been talking about for a very, very, very long time. And the truth is, platforms reward early operators, not late skeptics, because by the time you get in there and get your brand going and make that channel actually work for you, a lot of the value is inked out and squeezed out. And so I just wanted to share that because this has been something that I've been talking for a large time, but there's still time to be able to do this. And you're going to see that when we have a chat to Enso Sensory in a second. So before we do, we're very close. We're going to bring them up on stage. We're still waiting for Amy to arrive. Um, Now that you've seen the wave and you know what TikTok and TikTok Shop looks like, I want to talk about like who actually wins, what type of brands actually win in this space, just so that you have a bit of context before we dive into some of the details with what Amy and Yvonne have done. So first things first is the brands that win on this platform have a product that pass through these three filters. I've mentioned this before if you've seen me talk, but the first filter is you need a product that's visually demonstratable. It's a video first platform, and it's really important to be able to visually show your product effectively being used. The next filter is that you have a transformation that can visually be shown via your product on TikTok. So if you have a transformation that's like your heart health improves, which is really hard to show visually, you'd have to be a bit creative on that. That's going to be a little bit harder. Or, for example, let's say you have like an ingrown toenail. You can visually show that for sure, and you have a product for that. Awesome. But it takes time. So you want to make sure there's a product you can very easily and quickly show that transformation. And the third and final filter, and this is arguably the most important, is that you have a passionate audience talking about the problem space your product lives in. So, for example, if I'm selling teeth whitening, the problem space that that product lives in is it could be confidence, it could be obviously white teeth, but broadly speaking, it's oral health. So, if people are creating content around that on that platform already, then your product passes those first initial three filters, and uh, you're ripe to win on this platform. So, that's the first thing that brands need to be successful on TikTok, to see whether they can work or not. Next is they need someone dedicated in-house, like whether it's yourself or a team member, to spend at least 2 hours a day to build this channel. I see a lot of like fair weather brands that kind of dip their toe in and then they kind of like walk out. And the issue with that is you're creating demand on this platform, and you've seen the results of actually creating demand and what impact it has on your business, not just on the TikTok channel, but across the board. So having someone who owns that channel, who is dedicated to at least 2 hours a day, is something that I've seen all the winning brands do. And then finally, you have product market fit on at least one platform. Like you're making sales on a platform first before you start jumping on TikTok. And the reason for this is you're if you haven't achieved product market fit on a platform before, you aren't making any revenue whatsoever. It is a harder jump forward to jump directly in TikTok without having at least a base of sales that can be kind of like a catch-all bucket to catch the wave of demand you create. Like, for example, if you're not on Amazon or not on Shopify, you're not selling there at all, and you're just pushing on TikTok, that wave goes to your competitors on those platforms, not you. And so you want to make sure that you've at least achieved product market fit. So if you're doing at least 500K a year, or at least have one operator, and you're willing to at least do 90, invest at least 90 days in building TikTok, like this is built for you. What we're going to share with what Amy and Yvonne have shared, this is going to hit you right where you're most likely you need to hear it. Okay. So now Now that we've covered what TikTok looks like, I want to show you what this looks like for a real life brand who did over 1 million in sales on TikTok Shop. So, welcome, Amy and Vaughn. You can turn on your cameras and let me introduce you guys to everyone on call. Welcome, welcome. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time and jumping on. How are you going today?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having us.
Of course, it's my pleasure. Now, Amy, I know you were a little bit late just now. Can you tell me what you're doing just before you got onto this call?
Yeah, of course. So we were actually doing an affiliate coaching course. So we run this bi-weekly.
Mhm.
Literally, we are just talking to our affiliate community, sharing with them all the content that is working and kind of communicate, hey, go duplicate this that is working. Uh, and yeah, and really part of it is also community because um, actually, what just happened in the call was I was showing them this copycat brand, um, and how they have this script that has, I think, is starting to go viral because it's only been 3 days and they've got 13K views. I'm like, oh, this is the script to catch on to. And as we were listening to it, hey, that sounds a lot like one of your voices. And we realized they've stolen her voice on all of the
Oh
video.
no.
Uh, but yeah, I think it's that sort of like the community getting behind together. It's like common enemy. It's like
Yeah, there
these
you
people
go.
are stealing our scripts and stealing our voices. We need to, outdo them. So there's a bit of that too.
Brilliant. I think what I want to highlight there is that Amy's a prime example of dedicating the time required to actually scale on TikTok and TikTok Shop. But before we dive into kind of the details and the relationship that you've built with those affiliates, because I think there's a lot to double click on. By the way, guys, if you have questions for Amy, we'll have time for at least 3 to 5 targeted questions towards the end. But I've got a ton of questions to ask Amy that's going to give you a ton of value. But if you have those questions, please make sure you put it in the chat. And I promise it's not going to feel like interrogation of on and Amy, but these are questions that I think will be most valuable. So tell us a bit about the brand Enso Sensory. Tell me a bit about what the category looked like, your category on TikTok Shop before you launched there.
Yeah, so we specialize in sort of the mindfulness, meditation, and sort of mental health wellness space. I guess that's how we'll call it. Um, we actually we give ourselves the name is we are going to achieve what supplements achieve without being an actual supplement. We are basically talking to the same audience to a lot of the supplements brand. And the first product we launched onto TikTok Shop is a tuning fork set. Uh, so it's a bit niche, so most people might not have heard about it, but it's basically all about sound healing and healing from something that is not you consume, not chemical driven, anti-pharma that has worked really well for our ankles. Um, and before we launched onto TikTok Shop, there were already listings. I think there were like, I don't even know, there were so many listings like tuning forks, like single forks, sets, whatever. Um, all very obviously China-based sellers just throwing on it and then see what sticks. They're super cheap as well, but no one was really seriously creating content around it. And I
Mm,
think there was this one brand which is like, oh, they've been in that. I think they might be the original brand that kind of like sells tuning forks. But they're not really on TikTok shops. They're not leveraging the power of affiliate on TikTok
mhm.
shop. They have their own account. They have a great following, and they just do videos on it. But nothing.
But they just weren't leveraging the power of it, it sounds like.
They weren't
Yeah.
really selling per se. They were,
Hmm.
it's almost like they're just demonstrating the frequency. I mean, talking to the problem space of sound healing, but not very intentional with their strategy.
Sure.
And that's where we kind of jumped in, and we jumped in at a time where because no one was selling tuning forks on TikTok Shop, we had to work everything out. But maybe that's actually to our advantage. Now we are the first one, we made it, and we're the biggest one. and then affiliates wants to work with us. Like we've sprouted so many copycats, but fortunately for us, they're all from China, so it's actually a lot easier for us to kind of um take away what is the most powerful from TikTok Shop away from their tool set, which is affiliates. Every
Mm,
affiliate that has converted for them, we're like, steal them because we've got higher commission.
I
and
love it. Well, you're
and that's
you're
our new
jumping ahead
strategy.
here because so you're jumping ahead here because I want to set the stage before you go into the tactics because what you're saying is a great lever to pull 100%, but we need to set the stage. So
Okay.
you I love that when you launched, there were other competitors, but they weren't really doing any revenue. So you kind of jumped in without any proof of concept that this product would actually work on TikTok. But you're like, okay, I want to do this thing, right? Because there's nobody else that was really making any sales from Tuning Fork. So
Yeah.
before you started doing TikTok Shop, like approximately how much revenue were you doing on the Amazon side, before you really like kicked in on the TikTok Shop side?
Yeah. Um, that part was really sad. So, bit of backstory. We actually launched the tuning for set like maybe more than 1.5 years before we went onto TikTok Shop with this product. When we first launched it, took the market on Amazon because it was so unique. And I mean, I assume there's a lot of people who are Amazon sellers on the call. As you know, Amazon is a very brutal marketplace. They see you performing, everyone jumps in with their version, their copycats. So we basically
Mhm.
went from doing 50K a month to sub
Mhm.
10K a month. Just so at the point just before we launched on TikTok Shop, we were doing, yeah, below 10K a month on that product. It was just the copycats has eaten so much of our share. Our PPC
Mm,
is through the roof. Like it was like hitting like 23, 25%, something ridiculous. Like
yeah.
we were not making money. And that played into the decision we need to launch this one first onto TikTok Shop because the other
Mm.
one wasn't struggling as badly. This one was knee death. And TikTok Shop saved it. Like I have to say TikTok Shop saved it. We went onto TikTok Shop. I think the first 2 months it was pretty quiet. It was picking some, there's a few wins here and there, but nothing viral status. But then
Can I
once
double
it,
click on this
yeah,
piece? Because what one thing that you guys did that I want to highlight is when you launched on TikTok Shop, that wasn't your first go on TikTok. Like you had tried TikTok before, right? And I think the reason why I want to highlight this is brand owners like Yvonne and Amy, they when they see the opportunity, they're just going to keep going until it actually works for them. And it was out of necessity that they were, it was like near death, like you said, right? You're almost about to die because you'd already tried TikTok and you're like, okay, well, now I'm going to try TikTok Shop. Tell me about like what was the mindset when you're like, okay, well, we tried TikTok before, it didn't work. This product's near death. Like, why did you decide, okay, I'm going to try TikTok Shop one more time? Like, what changed in your mind?
yes, yeah. So prior to that point, I think we were attempting to tackle TikTok for maybe 1.5, close to 2 years at that point. Um, like early part of our journey, it was doing okay because we weren't really double downing on TikTok because we didn't know what we were doing. So we were doing something, but nothing on a big scale. So it was just my VA, Kristen, outreaching to affiliate. We were just hoping to do some gifted collabs, and we were just hoping to generate some UGC through that, and then repurposing that onto our account. And then what kind of change is when US launched TikTok Shop. Then
Mm.
suddenly everyone just stopped responding. Like
Ah.
everyone just stopped responding. Like we went from like you know, at least 1 month we'll get like 10 pieces of content to barely any response. And that went on for I think 6 months. And then at that point, just before we joined your program, uh, we already have written off TikTok. We have
Mm.
kind of repivoted to our attention to Instagram instead because we're like, nah, can't get TikTok working and we're not on TikTok Shop because, as an Australian seller, there's a lot of hurdles you have to jump through to get onto TikTok Shop
Mm.
US. And then what really inspired me is after having gone through your course, I was like, okay, TikTok Shop is where you want to be if you really want to tap into an affiliate engine. Like, yeah, I mean, you can drive to Shopify, yeah, you can drive to Amazon. We've attempted to drive to Amazon, but because the
Mm,
tracking is so poor, and you just don't know what is your winning content, and also you can't just say, hey, affiliate, take this product. If you make commission, then we give it to you. You can't do that with driving traffic to Amazon, whereas it's very clear on TikTok Shop. And you know all of that sort of combined to us gave us really clear signals. We need to be on TikTok
mm,
Shop if we want to succeed. So we just like,
fair.
let's jump through the hurdles, get it across the line, and then that's why it actually took us a while. We only launched in April last year, but we started sort of getting that process together like in sort of the year before, trying to like get all of those steps in place to be able to get us launched onto TikTok
Actually,
Shop.
launch it. I mean, I love that story because I mean, it's the classic hero arc. I tried this thing, I failed. I decided I'm not going to go do this thing anymore, and then I'm going to come back because this product's about to die. We need to do this thing. I guess before I get into like the specifics of like what your first month of launch looked like, and then after that, like what was the scariest part of the commitment for you to make when you decided, okay, I'm going to dive into TikTok Shop?
Um, I think it's the time commitment for both me and
Mm.
Yvonne. So at that time, uh, both of us actually have a very, like, we just had our second child. You saw me popping up on coaching calls with a young baby in tow. That's how
Yep,
committed I was. And
I love it.
really, like, I was like, do I have the time to implement this? Because I know, theory is great, but if I can't implement it, I might as well not listen to it, right?
Exactly
So,
right.
so I'm like, that was the biggest thing. I was like, I have a very young baby, which is basically demanding full-time attention. Do I have an extra time on top of the full-time to be able to implement this? I
Yeah.
think that was like the hardest bit, to be honest. And then, I mean, everything else like really pushed me into sort of
Mm.
outside of my comfort zone. Like for example, running the affiliate call where you said you need to do this.
Community.
I'm like,
Yep.
and I was like, I don't even know TikTok myself. How am I going to run coaching calls? And I just like, you know what? I believe in fake it till you make it, so I faked it till I make it. And that's what I did. I just pushed through. And then every time you tell me to do something uncomfortable, I'll just like, I'll figure it out. I'll push through, and then it always works out in the end. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. And the reason I wanted to highlight that is because it's so easy to connect the dots looking backwards, but looking forward, you have no idea. So you kind of just have to like be like, okay, I can see it's working for other brands in different niches, and my time is like hyper limited. Let's make this work, right? And the fact that you both committed to it, obviously Kristen's not on this call, but like she's part of the like the execution machinery inside the brand as well. And I think that's a massive thing. So I guess what I want to do is like pivot into a little bit more about what TikTok Shop was in your first month to when you got your first viral, which was I think around June or July of last
Mm,
year,
yeah.
to your largest month. So walk me through that.
Okay, yeah. So we launched in April last year,
Mhm.
and it was a very uneventful launch. So, um, what we do is we first ran a joint brand campaign, like 100 video social blast, and the intention of that was more to get some reviews on our listing and also get some content, which is, in my mind, if I'm going to give away a product, might as well get both, right? So. And then we've been doing for every product launch ever since. Like this is sort of the first step. Put some reviews on our listing.
100%.
And yeah. And and then all those videos we get also we can repurpose later. So I'm like, it's good. And at the same time, I think Kristen was starting to reach out to affiliates. And so the affiliate machine was starting, we were starting to send out samples. And I think really we started picking up some sales latter part of April and then going into May. And what was really
Hmm.
surprising for us is this product was actually picking up sales pretty easy. Like I'll say some of the videos, I'm like, how is this converting? It's terrible. But they still pick up one or two sales. So you know that the demand is there. No one is
Hmm.
producing content by the looks of it. So that was a good signal for us. And anyways, we just keep like even when we first started out, you said to us, go make a relationship with your affiliates, go do coaching calls. This is how you build a Discord community. And I'm like, yeah, let's just go do it. And then I built it all out. And I still remember like the first few affiliates, it came into an empty Discord
Yep.
community. And it jumped straight back out. And then I'm like, it's okay, over time we'll build this. It's okay. Um, so we
You
kept
got to
building
start
it.
from somewhere, right?
Exactly, right? You have to start from
Yeah.
zero. So I think like we won't count April because April was mostly just joint brand people purchasing. So let's
Mhm.
say in May, I think we sold 100 units, something like that.
How much is that in like revenue, just for context for people watching?
100 units would be about $4,000, I think. Yeah, because
Okay,
we
so that was
priced it
like your
lower.
first full month, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's about
Yeah.
$4,000. And then I think May maybe a little bit better, but still like maybe have double that, maybe $8,000. But yeah, nothing like dramatic crazy. And then June comes around. Uh, Later part of June, it was kind of the last third of June, one of our affiliate videos popped off. And that's when it went crazy. And it pushed us out of stock by July, like the first part of July. And to give you a sense of the scale of this, we had enough stock on the Amazon velocity that was supposed to last like 9 months. It was wiped out in 2 weeks because
Wow.
that dude went viral. And
That's amazing.
it is, and it's not like Amazon's like, oh, let's dial down the ads and slow it down. But it doesn't virality doesn't work like that. So we just have to deal with our stock. And the thing is, there's massive lead time for this product. We can't just restock right away, and we already predicted that could happen. So we already put in an order, and it was in the process of being made. But when it went viral, we're like, crap, that's not enough. We need to order a lot more than this. So
I remember
it,
having those conversations with you. I was like, do what's required, like make it happen.
I
Um,
know,
for
and we
con
had that conversation, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. You're like, we were both panicked on the call. I'm like, all right, cool, you need to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this to really capitalize on it. But for a bit of context, on the TikTok shop side, you're like 5K, 4K in that first month. Maybe the second month was like around 8K. That month that it went viral on TikTok shop, do you remember approximately what revenue, like number you hit on the TikTok shop side?
70K, 70K, yeah.
Wow. So it's just
Yeah.
like boom, parabolic. And
Yeah.
did the Amazon stay the same as well, or did you have an impact on how many sales are happening on the Amazon side because of that
Oh,
video?
it affected Amazon, but I think so before it was doing about 7 units a day. And then when it hit viral, I think it was bumped up to about 30 units a day. Then we ran out of stock.
Wow.
Um, yeah, which
That's
is
huge.
really
That's huge.
sad. Really, and I want to explain how sad it is for us. So we were out of stock for at least like 1.5 months, even though, we had this massive discussion how to get the stock in more quickly.
Yeah.
I air freighted some of it, but still, like the moment it came back in stock, it just kept selling, and I can't stop it. And then we're just like, we need more, we need more, we keep making more. um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just crazy,
It's
but
huge.
yeah, yeah. But
I,
that
mhm.
1.5 months, so we were out of stock from about mid-July till we were back in stock like early September. What we saw on Amazon side, just like, oh, it's like you want to stab yourself. It's like all these copycats are benefiting. You're like, you look at
Yeah.
brand analytics. The Amazon identified July, August as the peak month all of a sudden. which I know for this product that's not usual peak month. It's
Because of your viral
usually
videos on TikTok.
yeah, it's
That's
clearly
crazy.
because of those viral videos. People are buying out. Like we knew we lift the tide. Like there is no doubt. Like all our
Mm.
copycats benefited from that. And so it was kind of hard watching that happen. It's like, oh, our efforts is now, they are ripping the fruits of our, hard work. But it is what it is. So at the moment, we were back in stock in September. Boom. It's not like Amazon where, you know how if you out of stock, it's like the biggest sin and then you like, get deranked and everything. But
Yep.
no, TikTok Shop straight back. And so not a problem, but the best thing is because someone worked out the viral script in June, everyone
Hmm.
just copied it and then now it got amplified. Everyone just producing the same script over and over again and it sells. So we're like, wow, great. And at this point in September, we did 200K GMV. Yeah,
Amazing. That's
it
huge. So
was
that's
it
after
was
you're out of stock and it's like boom, straight into 200K. So you kept that momentum and that virality. And at that point, I'm assuming you're thinking we're going to go out of stock again, right? Because of the amount of volume that's coming through, or were you prepared? I want to like give the mindset for anyone who's listening on the level of preparedness you had to be able to capitalize on the demand you created. Because the worst thing is like you get out of stock again and again, and then your competitors get to have all the benefit from what you've done, right?
yeah. So just before we launched onto TikTok Shop, we already ordered extra. So that was the first
Mm,
batch that arrived in September. But we knew it wasn't enough. So in June, we already, I think, quintupled our normal order with 5 times our normal order with our supplier.
wow.
And they were literally like, dude, we can't make that much. Like, it's physically impossible. We need to stagger this. And so they staggered it. So whatever was ready, we just send them out and send them out. And because we knew on that kind of velocity, we were definitely going to run out. And I would hate for the affiliates to keep having it run out on them when they have a viral video. So on that June batch, as soon as it became ready, air freighted, air freighted, air freighted. So we just try to keep it in stock as fast as we can. And luckily,
Mm.
I think we had like 2 days that we went out of stock, and then we're straight back into stock. Um, so we managed to bridge the gap. uh,
I love it.
yeah, we
Oh, that's
stayed
like
in
touch and
stock.
go right there. You stayed in stock. And I think this is the most important thing because like once you see something working, especially for a platform like TikTok, when things are going viral the way that they are, you need to do everything you can in your business. You're basically turning the ship of your business so that you can fulfill the demand you've created. So that all that stuff isn't going to your competitors. And I think it takes a lot of hands-on effort. So obviously you've got like Yvonne on the call here as your partner in this. I know you're spending so much time here, but you also had a team member that was dedicated to owning this to help support you, right? And that's one thing that I see a lot of brand owners do. They get to a certain point, and when things like this happen, like we're out of stock, or we need to work with these manufacturers, or there's like all these new affiliates to kind of work with, give samples out to, and all this stuff, they fall flat because they don't have the capacity. Can you tell me a little bit about having that team member and how that, like Kristen, how that
Yeah,
kind of supported you? Yeah.
yeah. So when we first hired Kristen, like it really originated from the fact that I hated social media and I didn't want to deal with it. So I hired
Do you
her.
love social media now, by the way, after everything that's happened so far?
I don't like it as a consumer, but I like it as a brand owner, and I
Yeah, love
browse it as a
it.
brand owner. Um, yeah, I have a very different lens now. I'm analyzing every single video. Like, hey, we can replicate this. You just
Mm.
pattern, like you said, pattern recognition. So I'm getting better and better at that.
Exactly. Hell yeah. Good job, man. That's amazing. And so you hired Kristen because you didn't like the social media side. And tell me a little bit about like, did she own like the TikTok shop side from an execution perspective along with you? Like, how would that look? Or was she doing some tasks that you didn't want to do just so that the brand owners on the call can really understand like what that looks like in practice?
Yeah, I have to say that her role has shifted a lot since we've been gone on to TikTok Shop. But before TikTok Shop, like she was, I mean, her title kind of says so. She was our social media and affiliate manager. She did everything to do with all our social accounts and everything to do with affiliate. And going
Mhm.
into TikTok Shop with her was a blessing because we've had a working relationship for 2 years already at that point, and she's learning this
Mhm.
stuff with me. So it's not like I knew anything more than she did. We knew the exact same thing. And really, she just went into she focused a lot on the affiliate stuff because I feel like the affiliate stuff is just a, a little bit easier and also more time consuming. And then
Mhm.
I feel like I didn't really want to deal with that. And she loves relationships. And um and she did the content as well for our account. Um
Mhm.
but there's only one of her, so there's only so much she could do, and I had some input on that, but at that point I was still learning. So when the virality happened, in a way, it was a blessing that we were out of stock for like 2 months because we needed to rest because it was getting to the point that she couldn't handle the amount of work that was coming because then
Mm.
the
It was a
affiliate
wave.
managed. Yeah, the affiliate management side just really grew, and I can tell she's getting behind on her all the content work as well. Um, and that period of being out so actually gave us some breathing room. And we just went on a
Mm.
hiring spree at that point. We now have hired a new person that has now taken over the role of being a social media manager, so responsible for content and repurposing to our other platform. So now her sole focus is looking after our affiliates and outreaching to affiliates, which is the bit she really loved. So
Mm.
I feel very happy that I was able to accommodate that because now I have a two-man team on that side. And we've actually also added a third person, which was like an admin sort of VA, because I didn't realize back then, but being on Amazon is actually super amazing because they look after the customers. I mean, you get like a question here and there, but really they look after all the like logistic issues. Like, I didn't get my package, where is it? Those type of
Yep.
questions. But TikTok shop, you're on your own, man. So, like, we had to actually hire a customer service agent because I used to deal with just the customers by myself. I didn't bother hiring someone for that because it was like maybe one email, two emails a week. I'm like, I can handle that.
Mm.
I don't need someone. Then
Yeah.
it became like a 2 hour a day commitment to just answering like customer queries.
Brutal.
And I'm like, man, I can't do that. So we immediately hired someone to deal with that. So yeah, so
That's
we
huge.
exactly expanded that side of the team as well.
I think that's important. The reason I want to highlight that is just because you can't do it alone, and especially as you start scaling, you want to be able to have key team members in like very important roles. I guess to zoom out before we go into some of the Q&A questions, just so that we can kind of wrap our arms around the journey so far. Roughly, if let's talk about numbers from before and after. On TikTok Shop, you were at like 0 a month because you were just starting. And on average, how much are you doing a month just on average on the TikTok Shop side, just so people get an idea?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to get an average because we just came out of Q4. Um,
Yeah. Maybe tell
so
me what your largest month was so far in TikTok Shop and what this last month has been like. Because January obviously is a dip generally in the e-commerce space, right?
yeah, so um, the biggest month was I think 250K month. Um,
Amazing.
in January, I think it's 100 something K. I don't remember. I haven't checked the numbers. But
I love it.
it's definitely dipped. But according to our account manager, it hasn't dipped as much as like most other e-commerce brand. I think it's because our products really lean well into the new year, new me trend. So
Mhm.
yeah, we've been able to hold up decent traffic. Yeah.
Brilliant. I love that. And then on Amazon prior to TikTok Shop, how much monthly you were like 10K a month? It was like on his dying breath. Like on average, do you know how much the tuning forks are doing on Amazon now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's doing about 70K a month. So
That's
it has
amazing.
come back. And the thing
It's
is,
alive.
it is alive. I told you before that it was 23, 25% ad spend. That has now
Mhm,
come down to like 12%. And we are ranking number two. And our top
mhm.
competitor in this space felt so pressured they had to drop their prices by like $5 or $6. So I feel
Wow.
like I'm winning it here.
Hell yeah. That's amazing. And you kind of touched on a point that I wanted to double click on because a lot of brands, like when they're jumping on TikTok, they don't know about the profitability. They don't know how that fits in their Amazon game. They think if TikTok is not as profitable and then Amazon ad spend accounts for like 20, 25, or 26%, that it's going to stay. But because of the demand, it sounds like it drops. So for people listening, what was your profitability? What's your overall profitability on the TikTok shop side? Is it break even? Is it a loss leader? Are you profitable on the sales on the TikTok shop side?
Um, we're actually profitable on TikTok shop side. Like after all the extra affiliate commissions we give out, we're still like doing about 25% margin.
Wow, that's
And on
awesome.
the Amazon side, we're doing like close to 40% margin because ad went down and we just decided actually internally we are no longer focused on our PPC strategy because it doesn't matter. We're going to focus on TikTok shop strategy and that's going to fix the PPC strategy.
I am so glad you said that because there's a lot of Amazon sellers, and maybe they're on this call that like get very obsessed on the PPC side, but you're basically working in a very tiny sandbox and you're just moving little dials here. And if you do a big wave of demand, it's it solves the root cause, not the symptom, right? And that
Exactly.
contrast is really important. And I think that's huge. I mean, thank you for being so transparent and sharing, because I think that's what I really want to get through for people that are on this call. Like, if you actually execute the impact that it has across your entire business. Before I kind of finish with the last couple questions here, I want to bring up a couple of the questions that were asked in chat that hopefully either you or Vaughn can answer for the people listening. Is that
I
cool?
might, Raf, I might rip through them
Yeah.
at the end because I've actually got some people emailed me a couple of questions as well. So I've got a bit of a list here. So if you guys want to continue and then like that, I'll ask them at the end, mate, because then you can all chime in where necessary.
Okay. Deal. So to close this off before we get into any of the Q&A, like what can you do now in your business that you couldn't do 12 months ago? I always like seeing the contrast of like now that you have a top of funnel attention lever, what is possible for your business now that it wasn't 12 months ago?
Well, first thing, I think Yvonne can really talk to this because she worked really hard on this part, but now we have the volume to then now go talk to our suppliers and we are negotiating payment terms to support our growth.
Yeah,
Yvonne,
so
did you want to talk
Nice.
to that? Yeah.
well, interestingly, we actually outgrown our original tuning fork supplier. So we're not switching completely, but we're working really hard in getting a backup supplier going to who are bigger and are able to support our payment terms a bit bigger. So that has been my focus for the last few months.
Nice.
Also open up because I look after product development, and on Amazon, I could see that our opportunities were drying up with the landscape or the competition landscape. And after knowing what's possible on TikTok Shop, it actually opened up a lot more product opportunities that we haven't even dreamed of being in those spaces before. So
It's
yeah,
huge.
I feel that the possibilities just really open up for us.
And I think that that's awesome. The thing I want to highlight there, Vaughn and Amy, is the fact that now because you have economies of scale, you have leverage. You have leverage with your suppliers. Obviously, you have um, leverage in the attention machine. You can point towards other products and product categories you could never do before. And then because you're scaling the way you are, you have leverage with your affiliate relationships as well. And so you can get them in your Discord, you can train them. You don't have to offer the same amount of high commissions that new brand owners would have to do to start enticing them. So I think that's a massive thing. How do you feel about your business now compared to before TikTok Shop? Like your stress, your confidence, the feeling of maybe, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? Am I going to get hit with long-term storage fees? How does it feel now with where you're sitting at right now?
I actually wanted to share a conversation I had with my husband just before we launched on TikTok Shop. And that really speaks to and answers your question. We've been trying to get the brand off the ground. We are seventh year in our business now. And every year there was something. Then, like, hit our first success back in 2020, which is COVID. And COVID, everyone was stuck at home and started ordering Zen gardens. And that really took off. But then, year after that, it's been like, to put it lightly, it's been hell for us. Like we are probably making like a small profit or breaking even,
Mm,
largely because right after COVID there was a shipping hike. That was
mm,
1 year, and then combined with copycats on Amazon, just everything that was successful became a dead weight maybe like 6 months after because it got copied to death. And in the year just prior to launching TikTok Shop, there was a tariffs. Like every
mm,
year there's something new, right? And every year we're like, oh, next year is going to be better. We'll just ride through this. And the conversation I had with my husband, he was like, you've been doing this for a while. You have nothing to show for it at this point. We were not, both me and Yvonne were not getting paid. Like we've been at
mm,
it grinding for 6 years. And it's like, he asked me this question, which was like, at what point do you stop and call it quits?
mm,
And I said to him, look, I have a feeling TikTok Shop is going to turn things around. I will know in 2 months, 2 to 3 months, whether it has worked. And if it hasn't worked, I think it might be time to consider calling it quits. That was the position we were in.
wow. Oh my God.
I didn't know
That
that.
feeling of like, yeah, I didn't know that either. Man. Because I can feel your emotion from there. Because we're not just like random brands. We're people behind it. We've put our hopes, our dreams. We've sacrificed different like family events, maybe time with our kids, time with our husband to build out this brand. It's just gotten to that point where you're like, okay, I might have to walk away from this. Thank you for being vulnerable enough to share that. And what I'm hoping is that you don't feel that way anymore. That when your husband talks to you about your brand, it's like, hey, I'm so glad I didn't talk you out of this thing, because it's a lot, man. It's a lot
It
to go through
is, it
it.
is.
Yeah.
And now I'm
Ha-
showing my husband, look at this crazy number we're doing on TikTok Shop.
Um,
So very different
Now you're all
conversation.
smiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then now we have a system, a framework. Now we just need more products and then we're done.
I love it, man. And I'm so glad that there's that change in how you feel about your business and obviously the results. And now you feel excited for what you're doing. And the stress might be, okay, I don't have enough stock because of the demand, but the stress isn't like I've got this stock and I can't sell it. Right. And that's a much better
Yes.
problem. You have problems either way, let's be honest, but these are
Yeah.
better problems than these ones. The last couple questions I have here for you, Amy and Yvonne, and thank you for being so honest and transparent and vulnerable, is that I know what would have happened. It sounds like I know what would have happened if you waited another year. You probably would have closed down Enso Sensory. But if you're talking to a brand owner right now that's at this stage, what like what would you tell them in regards to building their brand and leveraging top of funnel on TikTok Shop? If it was any piece of advice, a single thing that you could tell them if they're in a similar situation to you, or if there's something that you wish like you future self would tell your past self.
Look, I honestly feel this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for any brand, to be honest. Like, given where the stage that TikTok Shop is in, not many, not enough people has adopted it. So there's a lot of room
Mm,
to gain. And I think what's interesting is this is now in tandem with the AI trend that's happening. And it makes content creation just so much easier. And everything can move so much faster. Like if you told me 4 years ago or 3 years ago, I'm gonna be on TikTok doing videos, I would be like, ah, you're gonna be kidding me, right? That's never gonna happen. I can't see myself on camera. And also the scripting part of it, if you don't have AI to help, it's it's very hard and very time
Yeah.
consuming. And and that's why I think this is actually the golden time to join, because you have TikTok Shop clearly is working, is taking off. There are now brands that is outside your typical TikTok Shop type of brands who are jumping in and creating their own version of success. And so clearly, as a platform, it's working and people are starting to take notice of that. Then you overlay the accessibility of AI tools. Like
Mm.
literally, if you don't join now, all the other people who become aware is gonna now jump in, use the AI tools, use the viral of TikTok, and then get their brand to build up, and then you miss your boat. I think that's what it is.
Mm.
Like it is very fortunate we got the timing right, but at the same time, I do feel like me and Yvonne had this conversation many times where it felt like our 6 years of work got us to this point where we were ready to receive this opportunity. And then we took it and
Mm.
then took the brand to the
You
next
ran with
level.
it.
So, yeah, exactly. So, I'm hoping if you're at that stage where you feel like you've got a product that is potentially, will do very well on TikTok Shop, like seriously consider it, because I've shared with you my numbers. You saw how it completely changed our business. There is a lot of work. I'm not gonna like lie. There's a lot of work, but your work, I think, is well worth it. Like, well, it saved our brand, so
Yeah. No, I love that, man. Like, thank you for being so transparent and open. I think that's the thing that I hope everyone walks away from. Like, there's no gatekeeping on what it actually feels like to be a brand that's struggling, but also the work required once you're scaling. Like, we're not sugarcoating it. Like, it is a lot of work, but this is also the results that you get. Look, before um, I what I want to do is kind of jump into kind of the Q&A of what we've got a few questions that are being asked. So what we might do is get Graham to ask like 3 to 5 of the top questions because I don't want to keep you guys for too long, but I want to make sure that those that ask the question live get the value. So are you guys cool if we throw a few questions at your way?
yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, thank you. Graham.
We've got over a dozen, but there are a few double ups. Some of them should be like rapid fire, which is good. I'll just get through them. Number one, currently, I mean, I know there's some change on the horizon, but for fulfillment with TikTok, how are you doing fulfillment at the moment with obviously TikTok Shop US?
Um, we are using FBT, so Fulfilled by TikTok, their warehouses. We What we've done with new launches is we've rely on Amazon warehouse and using the multi-channel fulfillment plugin to do that. And once it's proven, then we start sending stock into FBT. And we also have, because we also recently launched a book, so we have a relationship with a book printer publisher, and they fulfill our book orders. So yeah, we've got multiple fulfillment points.
Got it. I like this question, bit different, but Yvonne, I might pick on you for this one. This is what Raf normally does. You're a dynamic duo, but as a partnership, like maybe not the secret to your success, but do you have like split roles or you girls are an amazing team, but it'd be great just to hear from yourself, what makes you guys such a great partnership?
Yeah, we have clear distinction on what we do. So just to ensure that all grounds are covered. So I look after the product development and the logistics side of things. So basically any activity that's required from the get-go of the product development until when the inventory lands into the warehouses. And then Amy looks after the selling part, which is the amazing TikTok shop machine now. And I think that the reason that we work really well as a team, I think firstly is because we've been friends since like year 8, so we were high school friends, so we know each other inside out. And because of that, we are very comfortable in having the difficult conversations and when things are not right, and we know that we all have the best intentions at heart. And we also, I think the planning system that we have, so we do a annual plan to set our overarching goals, and then we do a whole day quarterly workshop with our teams as well. So everyone knows what those goals are, and we all just work within our own domains to achieve those common goals. And the goals are very clear. So I think all that combined together makes us a good team.
And good
Love
communication,
that.
obviously.
Oh, yes.
Love that. Okay, riffing through these, I know we're coming up on time. With the packaging for existing products, did you decide to make any changes, or did you just take what you were working on Amazon and put it over to TikTok?
Nah, we made no modifications. Straight. We were literally fulfilling TikTok with our Amazon stock, if that helps.
Right.
I love it.
Straight to the point. That's good. Good to know. All right, getting through a couple more of these. Can you just clarify? You spoke about join brands earlier when you first got moving. With join brands, like was that content for your own channel, or like was that some system that they had, or can you just highlight a little bit more about what that was?
Yeah, so they have this function called a social blast, which is like, so we got the 100 videos for $25 each. Like that's how you can get the cheapest per video. If you do individual videos, sometimes they can be like 100, 150 a video, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Um, so that's the reason why I went down that path, social blast, $25 per video plus reimbursement for the purchase. Um, and really, that process, the main objective is actually just to get some reviews on our listing. So I almost do not care what kind of content they create, um, as long as there's a piece of content. I don't care, just
Yep.
create something. I mean, we do give them a creative brief, of course, but as you know, it can be hit and miss. Sometimes they just create crap and then it is what it is. I'm not like too emotional about it. Just leave us a review. You can create crap. I don't care.
Yep.
And but funnily enough, now we're kind of like noticing that there are hidden gems within joint brands where people maybe who are just new at content creation and really trying to make that. Like our one of our top affiliates came from joint brands. She was very new at that point. But
Wow.
then she completely took on that viral script and she went viral herself. And now she's the one who's getting her voice copied and everything. And
Ah,
her videos are like showing up on Facebook ads of some other brand. So now she's got the other side of things of going viral that she has to deal with. But I think that's the point. Like joint brands, it's a bit of a luck. Sometimes you might struck a gem, but I would say like 90% of them are like pretty meh. But we got the reviews, which is good. And we don't really repost the content onto our own brand account only because like a lot of them are kind of terrible. But at least we've got B-rolls that we can use. Then we can
mm,
like clip it and turn it into something else. So that's what we've been doing. Yeah.
brilliant.
I'm getting polite bumps. So I'll finish up on this one, which I do think is a good question. In that, roughly, because I know it's always evolving, that how many people are in your Discord now, and when you first launched, roughly how many samples did you get out to get some traction?
Um, I am like the worst person to ask this question because Kristen manages that. But I
Just
think Yeah, I think we didn't send out that many. Like I think we may have sent out like maybe 67. Like if you don't count the joint brands campaign, because that's 100. Um,
Mhm.
Mhm.
on TikTok Shop, we were probably sending an additional like 60, 70 maybe. Like I
Okay.
don't think we were super aggressive with it. Because Kristen has her high standards. Like I
Hell
keep telling
yeah.
her, you need to loosen it, or otherwise we don't have enough affiliates. I have to keep telling her you need to loosen your criteria a little bit. But yeah, so I mean, these are just like affiliates who have gotten the sample, posted about it, and then sometimes they post more if they convert. But the so I think I don't know how TikTok Shop comes up with these numbers, but according to TikTok Shop, we have over 6,000 affiliates but I'm pretty sure not all 6,000 are active. And what we've sort of kind of gauged from that number is a lot of them just kind of add your product to the product card or the showcase, sorry. And then they don't do anything, they don't ask for sample, they don't do anything. So I think that 6,000 counts a lot of these people. But people who are actively creating, I don't think there's more than like one to 200 creators.
Hmm.
And
At one time.
yeah, and then inside our Discord group, I think we have about 120, 130 creators in there. And not all of them are active. So I've been telling Kristen, we need to call those inactive people because we want to protect our community a bit. But yeah, that's roughly the numbers you're looking at.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Guys,
Wonderful. Raf, over to you, my friend.
yeah, we've got actually a ton of more questions, but I'm not going to pepper you with all those. Those that have asked questions, I'll do my best to get this recording to you and respond to those questions. We've got some technical questions in the chat that I'll probably have to email in responses to. But I guess, firstly, can everyone in the chat just thank Amy and Yvonne for their transparency, their honesty, and spending their time sharing their story? Because they didn't have to do this. I mean, they're busy scaling a business, but they wanted to share this with other brand owners because they know what it feels like. So, just in the chat, just let them know that you appreciate it because I mean, this is a huge favor that they're doing for us and obviously for you guys as well. I'll quickly finish off and then I will let you guys go. So give me about 2 minutes and I promise I'll let you guys leave for your day. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll quickly finish off here, guys. And I'll answer those questions a little bit later, probably via email for you guys with the recording. So I think one thing that I wanted to point out is that Amy and Yvonne's story, it's not like they're not lucky. It's not like a unicorn. They saw the opportunity and they executed. It's hard work, but they actually did it. And that's the most important thing. And the reason I'm sharing this is because we've helped brands do this. Obviously, they're executing to help them implement these systems for like brands over and over and over and over again. And what I've noticed, and hopefully what you guys have heard from Yvonne and Amy, is that to win on this platform, you need to have an internal owner, someone willing to invest like 3 to 6 months minimum and a strong hero product. If you don't have those things, you're fighting an uphill battle. Ideally on TikTok, you want a hot knife through butter. If it's not that, it's a difficult slog. So if you have these three things, you're in prime position to actually be successful on the TikTok Shop platform. I was noticing some people in the chat asking, like, where can you find out more? Where can you learn more? So if you want to learn more about what we do, we're not a done for you agency. We're not going to be uh, an agency that you kind of rent the channel. We help you install it so you own the channel. So whether Amy and Yvonne want to stay with us, hopefully they do until they exit their business. But even if they don't, they have the internal skill set. And that's the most important thing for us. We've been brand owners ourselves. We still are brand owners. And I truly believe, especially where social commerce is going, every brand should have this internal capability. Even if in the future you want to hand it off to an agency who takes care of it, you need to know what's working. And that's what we do. That's what we help brands for. So if you're interested, in what we do, just shoot Graham an email, or you can scan that QR code and you can book in a call with Graham to learn a bit more. And I guess any last words from you, Amy and Yvonne, about what it's like working with myself and Graham, just for those people that are just like, maybe this is all tough. Maybe I'm holding you guys at gunpoint to say the stuff that you have so far.
Look, I have to say, if you are keen on jumping onto TikTok Shop, don't jump in blind, jump in with Rafe's expertise. We've worked with agencies, and I am in multiple newsletters. And I'm actually currently in another program that was recently launched that is for TikTok Shop. Where we're just trying to get different perspectives, but I always come back to Rafe. Rafe understands content, which on TikTok is super important. This is what I've learned, I think, after attending your course. I realized what the problem was before is I don't understand content. And content is king on TikTok. You can't get away from that. Even though you would like to palm it off to someone, you have to understand content. And I think without Rafe's guidance, like those monthly coaching call, really help us sort of zoom in. So this is what we need to work on for the stage we're in. So I guess that's my advice.
I appreciate that, Amy. Thank you so much. That means a lot. And I just want to point out, none of this would have happened if Amy and Yvonne and Kristen and the team didn't execute. That's the main thing. So I don't want to take anything away from all the hard work you guys have put in to make it the way that it is. Now, I know we've gone over. So Graham, is there any last words before we close it out? And then we can let everyone enjoy the rest of the day.
No, just super thankful again for Yvonne and Amy for coming on, and as you mentioned multiple times, being so vulnerable, because that's tough. Like even when she was talking, I started getting like a little knife in the heart and getting emotional because I mean, as brand owners, like we all go through these shit days where like most people just don't talk about. They just see the shiny stuff, but it's like, mate, we went through the trenches to get here, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy for your success. I absolutely like to give you the biggest hug right now if I could. Not that far away, so maybe I might do that later. But thanks again for coming on, girls.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day
There you
ahead.
go.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you,
Bye.
everyone.